All right, we are in lesson 16.5, and I am working with determinants. And it sounds like a hard word, not that hard of a concept. Our essential question is, can you find the determinant of a 2 by 2 or a 3 by 3? Now, once again, I will have a lesson on how to do this in your TI 84, so watch your Canvas for that. But while we are here, let's do them by hand. If I have 3, -4, -1, -2, to find the determinant, they have a little formula. So let me actually write it out as A, B, C, D. The determinant is AD minus BC. So we're kind of just, I call it plugging and chugging numbers. So for example 1, I'm taking 3 times -2, and I am subtracting -1 times -4. Well, 3 times -2 is -6, minus 1 times -4 is 4, and that's going to give us a -10. So, as you can see, not super hard, but it does get a little bit more confusing when we move into the 3 by 3s. So there are many, many different ways to do it. I'm going to teach you my favorite way because I think it's a little easier than the way the book does it, but there's a bunch of ways to do it. There's Kramer's rule. There's all different kinds of ways. All right, so let's move on. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead while we're here and try another 2 by 2 just for plugging and chugging. So example 2, we have 1, 2, -3, -4. Well, that's fun, huh? So when I plug and chug my numbers, -4 times 1 is -4, minus -3 times 2 is -6, and my answer looks like it's 2. So let's work on example 3. The 3 by 3s are what's going to get you. They're not going to get you. You guys are smart kids. So let's take a look at this one, and we're going to go over it. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at this first row straight across. You see these numbers right here? I'm going to put those in, write those down as a 1 times something minus 0 times something plus 4 times something. Those somethings are going to be the determinants. So we're going to fill these in with determinants of a 2 by 2, but I'm going to show you how to get those determinants of a 2 by 2. So what I did is I went straight across the row, and now I'm going to go ahead and to find the determinant of 1, I'm going to cross out this and use the determinant here. -2 times -1 is 2. Minus 5 times 15. You know what, I'm going to write this down. -1 times -2 minus 5 times 3, and that's a +2 minus 15, which gives me a +13. Are we good there? So now that I've made a mess of this, I don't know if they'll let me erase it without getting, oh, I can erase without getting into that. All right, so I'm going to hopefully not rid of the rest of my stuff. So now I'm at the 0 mark. So at 0, I'm going to cross out this and this because I'm at the 0 mark. And I'm going to take the determinant, -2, let's use a different color, -2 times 1 minus 0 times 3. Well, first of all, anything I put here, 0 times anything is 0, but this is going to be -2 minus 0, which is a -2. So we really don't need to worry about that. I probably should have noticed that beforehand, but let's go ahead and erase. I realize you won't have an eraser in your notebook when you're doing this with paper. So now I'm going to cross out the 4 because I really crossed it out. I wanted to highlight it. So I want to cross out here and here. and I'm going to go ahead and find 5 times negative 1. That was not a negative. 5 times 1 minus negative 1 times 0. Well, 5 minus 0 is 5. So once I have this information, I'm going to go ahead and actually solve it. Before I do that, I noticed I had a little mistake. Did you guys notice my little mistake that this should have been a negative 13? You were probably screaming that the whole time, weren't you? I'm sure you were. So I'm going to take this row, I'm going to write it down here, negative 13 minus 0 plus 20, and this is going to give me my 3 by 3 determinant of 7. All right, so let's try one more determinant. And then I might show you another way since we're having so much fun. All right, so my determinant is going to be taken from this 3 by 3. Remember, I'm going to take the first numbers across and I'm going to write them. I'm going to write it up here as plus, minus, plus. So I'm going to take, really it's just the positive, so I'm going to take the negative 3 determinant minus 1 determinant plus 0 determinant. Now, I can probably not even deal with that one, right? Because we have a 0. I love zeros. Zeros are so fun. So let's go ahead and deal with the determinant of the first. So if I highlight here and here, I'm going to take the determinant of 0, I'm going to write that down, minus negative 8, and that's going to give me a positive 8. And now all I have to do is the 1, so I'm going to highlight this and this, and I'm going to rewrite in my numbers here because you can't see them. And I didn't highlight down, did I? So now I have 1 times 1 minus negative 2 times negative 2, and it looks like we get a negative 3 there. So because the other one was 0, I'm going to highlight it anyway. I'm not highlighting. I'm going to highlight it anyway. I would have to do the determinant here and here, but I don't need to worry about that because anything times 0 is 0. So let's take the information right here. Negative 3 times 8 is negative 24. Negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 3, and it looks like my determinant is negative 21. All right, for good time's sake, let's go ahead and we're going to do that exact same determinant, and I'm going to show you the way that your book does it. Some of you might like this better, and that's fine. So we have negative 3, 1, 0, 1, 0, negative 2, negative 2, 4, 1. And so we're given it like this. Now, these first 2 rows, I'm going to rewrite again right next to it. So negative 3, 1, negative 2, 1, 0, 4. Are you with me? And we are going to plug and chug numbers again. So we are going to multiply down right here. So negative 3 times 0 times 1 is 0. Is it okay if I just plug and chug numbers like that? Multiply down again. 1 times negative 2 times negative 2. That's going to give me a positive 4. Notice I'm adding. Multiply down again. 0 times 1 times 4 is 0. Now, we are going to subtract up. So we're going to start over on the edge again, and we're going to subtract up. Negative 2 times 0 is 0. Minus 4 times negative 2 is negative 8 times negative 3 is 24. And we're continuing to subtract up. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. Now, if I'm to add all this together, I'm going to peek, because remember my answer was negative 21. If I was to add all this together, this 4 And negative 24 gives me a negative 20, and this negative 1 would give me a negative 21. So you decide how you like it. You might not like the crossing out that I did. You might like just the one whole strip of it. It's almost a little bit better visually.